Thanks to the support as a channel member, Andrew Mayo. Well, it might have taken us 10 years to get to this point, but in today's episode, we play our first ever game in the Champions League in this year's Non-League to Legend. Hello and welcome to Club 4, part 16 of Non-League to Legend. I'm Kevin. Coming up on today's episode, we have that first ever Champions League game against Villarreal, and we also face Watford in the Premier League. Since you were last with me, form has been incredible at the start of this season. You saw us win a couple of games in the last episode. We've won a couple more. Yes, we've had relatively easy games. To be fair, we played Liverpool, but other than that, Wolves, Bournemouth, Brighton, as a Champions League club, you would expect them to be teams that we would beat. Tammy Abraham finally having his breakout performance in a Norwich shirt against Brighton, so hopefully that's him fully settled in. Now, I'm not going to be too alarmed just yet that we've only got 3 different goal scorers so far, because Luis is scoring for fun, Abraham's starting to look like a threat, and Tipple's got 3 from 4, so it's not a bad thing, and we are level on points at the top of the league after 4 games with Arsenal and Manchester City. Pedro Luis is right up there as one of the top scorers in the Premier League and one of the best players, and most important of all, we survived the closing of the transfer window without losing any of those key players, which we were worried we were going to be losing. There are teams in for them. We're going to have this worry again as soon as January comes around. Liverpool and Leipzig are in for Luis. He's the only one who's got a wanted sticker next to him at the moment. Even Noel, who was wanted throughout the window, and we've promised we'd let him go for a certain price. And interest in him seems to have disappeared because of that price, presumably. So that's a good thing. But today is all about the Champions League because we face Villarreal, first ever Champions League match. If you didn't stay until the end of yesterday's episode and see the group draw, aren't you a silly goose? You should always stay until the end of the episode. But this is the group that we've got. Probably the best group we could have hoped for. On reflection, looking through the other groups that were drawn, Villarreal, Salzburg and Monaco, I think this is a group we have a chance of qualifying out of and getting into the knockout rounds of the Champions League. But in order for that chance to happen, we have to be good in our home games, specifically this one against Villarreal, who have started the season top of La Liga. They are also in fact, they're not on 4 wins from 4. They've got 4 wins and a draw from their first 4 games. I don't know if they've played anyone any good. Not really. I think our form is just, they'd be worried about us just as much as we're worried about them. And Monaco are probably watching the whole thing thinking, well, we're supposed to be quite good, but I think we're probably at best looking for Europa League, and poor old RB Salzburg. Never mind, eh? Better luck next year. So this is the team that we're going to be sending out there. Have I just swapped those 2 around? What way around are they normally? I think I just swapped it. Oh, this is going to trouble me forever. The team that we're sending out there for the game against Villarreal, it is already becoming a familiar one. It's weird starting a season with a first choice team already in mind. And we do have Alvarez fit again. So he's in the mix, but hasn't actually made an appearance yet this season because Abraham and Pedro Luis have been so good. But this is our 11. This is our first choice team. We've got Hoy and Hal in goal. A back four of Michele, Caesar, Noel and Romero, who, although he didn't start the Liverpool game because I was worried it might be a bit too soon for him, his performances since indicate it's probably not too soon for him. He's played all 3 of the games since then, 2 assists and a 7.43. I think Romero already is our first choice starting right back. Zamorano's back in at the base of the midfield today. After Ansa playing in the early Premier League games, mainly because Ansa is one of several players who we've not been able to register for the Champions League because of the fact we don't have any homegrown players, really. So Sika, Wagyu, Ansa and Mortellaro, none of them registered for the Champions League squad. So we are going to be... it's occasionally going to be difficult to fill a bench, but not today. We're all right today. Zamorano at the base of the midfield, then Janusek and Tippel ahead of him, Gilberto Carlos... then in behind Abraham and Pedro Luis. Expect to see some changes for the Watford game at the weekend. I'm going to try not to weaken too much for the Premier League too often. It makes sense for a long-term growth of the club thing to make sure we qualify for the Champions League again. We're not going to win it this year, so our priority should be the Premier League. Our priority is the Premier League, But when you're playing Villarreal on Wednesday and Watford on Saturday, I feel like you have to play your best team against Villarreal, don't you? I mean, it's our first ever game in the Champions League. It's a home match. We've got to go. We've got to have a look to see if we are any good at this level. We can't just come into the Champions League and treat it like the Johnson's Paint Trophy and play the reserves just so that we can get in it again next year. Because otherwise, what's the point of getting in it if you're not going to have a go? McKaylee with the cross, looking for Tammy Abraham, but can't find him. In fact, that might have been Pedro Luis who was lurking in the middle, which he's looking for the wrong guy. If you're doing crosses in the air, you should be aiming at Tammy Abraham. And we've conceded a goal. I mean, we've found at times in the past, previous saves, you get him to the Champions League, and sometimes the systems that get you there don't necessarily work when you get there. They've got a striker called Damien. Flashes of Apollon coming before my eyes. I mean, the guy in Apollon was a new gen, and we nicknamed him Damien because I couldn't say his surname, so it's not the same guy. But how exciting to see a Damien up front in the Champions League the way it was always supposed to be. Right, Abraham to Tipple, trying to play it into Pedro Luis. Of course, good performances in the Champions League are going to make it even harder for us to keep hold of our key players. If they can show that they can do it on the big stage, well, they're going to leave Norwich, probably. I thought Caesar had connected with that nicely, but it's actually been cleared as far as Janusek, and now Caesar again gives it back to McKaylee, and the move breaks down. But yeah, what I was saying about systems not working, if we come here and get beaten against Villarreal at home, I think it kind of sets us a little bit of a marker straight away that maybe it's a season too soon for us to be competitive in the Champions League. We're maybe a little bit naive. Use this season as a learning point and come back stronger next year by really focusing in on the Premier League. And maybe Tammy Abraham doesn't play a lot of Champions League football because we need to be saving him for the weekends. This is his first time since he's been here that he'll have had to have played 2 games in a week. How is he going to cope with it? He does still have ridiculous physicals from a 35-year-old man, but he is a 35-year-old man. How long is he going to be able to keep going at his current rate? Clearly, a little bit longer for now, because he's grabbed Norwich's first ever Champions League goal, and it's scored by Tammy Abraham. And it's, Gilberto Carlos looked like he was fouled there, but the ref, I think, has played an advantage. Janusek played it into Tipple, slots it into Pedro Luis. First touch is a through ball to Abraham, and it's 1-1. And Pedro Luis and Tammy Abraham already starting to look like a useful partnership. Julian Alvarez has every reason to be worried, I think, looking at how these two are getting on. I just need to keep reminding him, Tammy's 35. He's not in for the long haul. He's in for 1 year while we get used to the Champions League as an extra top-level striker, because we needed more than 2 to be able to compete in 2 competitions. Don't worry, you'll get game time, and he'll probably be gone next year, so you'll get even more game time then. That's terrible. What's the ref waving his arms around for? I mean, if that's been given as offside, that's very harsh. Yeah, I was going to say it would have been very harsh, but Hoyenhal, I'm not sure what he's done here. We speculated a little bit that we might be getting so good that the game is going to start making Hoyenhal look bad. And it certainly made him look bad there. It's always been a frustration of Football Manager when good goalkeepers turn bad, not because they weren't good in the first place, but because the rest of the team gets good enough that in order for you to concede goals, someone has to make a mistake, and it starts being the goalkeeper, and it makes him look dodgy. And we know he's not dodgy. He's Hoyenhal. He's brilliant. That's 2 episodes in a row now. He's been made to look like a clown. Janusek to Carlos, and now Tipple playing into Pedro Luis, who is in. And I mean, the form he's been in this season, you would have expected him to apply the finish. I think he was offside anyway, but a little bit disappointing not to see the net bulge. 2-1 to Villarreal at half-time then. Looking at the match stats, I think we have every right to feel a little bit hard done by. But at the same time, naivety, maybe we'll have to come up with a Champions League system. It's something we've had to do before. I don't want to have to fiddle around with that yet, because this system's working so well in the Premier League. There's no logical reason why it shouldn't work in the Champions League too. Certainly early on in the season like this, there's no tiredness contributing to a poor performance today. They've got a diamond of their own, but with a back 3. Maybe that's the problem. The fact that they're also playing a diamond means we're not controlling the middle of the pitch the way we do in the Premier League week in, week out. because no other team plays this kind of system in the Premier League. Carlos with the effort from range, and it goes flying over. Look at that XG. I'm tempted to change something, but then I look at that and think, well, no, because we're dominating the game. We've just been a little bit unlucky, a goalkeeping mistake, but we are dominating the match. Let's get Alvarez on. I think he's done enough over his 10 years at Norwich to earn a place in our first game in the Champions League. We're going to get Diaz on as well to try and make something happen from midfield. And I think at the very least, we deserve an equaliser. This is really quite upsetting, what I'm witnessing at the moment. Tammy Abraham is now tiring as well, so we'll take him off and bring on Casolare as the final change and hope that we can grab a goal from somewhere. It's Alvarez with the corner. It's an in-swinger. Caesar's there, and it's gone just over, and we are getting chance after chance after chance, and we're just not converting them. It's another corner. Alvarez with the in-swinger again, and that time Noll is there and grabs the equaliser. The club captain rising to the occasion again. There's the horns tooting outside in celebration, and it is Norwich 2, Villarreal 2. Lovely, lovely, lovely. We'll take that. I mean, we came into this wanting a win, but bearing in mind how the game has gone, we'll absolutely take that. That works for me. Oh, who'd have thought that the tooting of the horn wasn't somebody celebrating the goal, it was somebody delivering something, and then the doorbell rang as well. Very frustrating because I missed the last 2 minutes of the game because I didn't press the pause button properly. Ridiculous. But it does end 2-2. Got to feel a little bit disappointed, but at least we didn't lose, I guess. And now the big question is going to be, are we going to suffer the Champions League hangover that I talk about every year as we take on Watford, who are a team that, by all rights, we should absolutely thump. But Champions League hangover is a thing. I'm certain of it. Right, I'm not really sure what the best thing to do here is because apparently we're suffering from no tiredness. It's still very early in the season. So my urge to make loads of changes, I'm trying to resist it. We've brought Answer back in as the only change so far. And I think we probably leave it there. But logic dictates that we probably should have made a few more changes. What have I just done there? Oh, I just clicked a player on the way through. I don't think I have. Everything looks right. Let's submit the team and see how we get on. If we somehow manage to not beat Watford, then we'll know that changes are needed regardless for post-Champions League games from now on. Even if it looks like everybody's fit, you need to make changes anyway. I guess the fact that we were at home maybe makes a little bit of a difference. We've not got to travel back all the way from Spain midweek and then play again on the Saturday. So maybe that counts as part of it. I'm not sure. Janusek with the cross and Abraham is there with a header, but it goes just over. We're wearing the weird salmon-y kit today, which we don't see a lot of this. It doesn't come out very often. But it's it's horrible. It's a horrible kit. I like a pink kit, but it's not really a pink kit, is it? That's a very good header from Tammy Abraham again. Is this being disallowed? His aerial prowess is absurd because there's no way you should be scoring from there. Even if it's disallowed, it shows just how good he is in the air. And it is disallowed. But we've had this a couple of times already this season where he's scored from very similar positions. But, he is just a smidgen offside. But that header from that angle is nuts. Once he learns how to stay onside, and at 35, I'd like to think he'd have learned it by now. If we can teach him to stay onside, he's going to be a real threat at that far post. Noll now, playing it out of defence to Romero. And Romero just giving it back to Noll. Nice and easy. Nice, easy highlight as we look for an opportunity to present itself. Tipple trying to play Lewis in, but it's intercepted relatively easy by the Watford defenders, but they can only clear as far as Noll again. And now Answer looking for options. Tipple, Pedro Luis, he's got Abraham with him. He's found Romero at a very unusual angle. I don't even know how he saw him. But Romero with the cross and Tipple is there and he's hit the post. Oh, that was close. But we are still unable to break the deadlock. Michele playing it back to Janusek and now all the way back to Noll again. And he once again played. Watford are leaving nobody forward. Noll is playing as a holding midfielder for most of this match so far. Janusek with the cross and Tipple is there again. He's had two identical chances and missed them both. What is going on with Tipple today? It remains 0-0. Champions League hangover. I told you it was a thing. Right, we're going to point the finger and tell them that's not been good enough. We're going to be demanding more as well. We should be ahead in this football match. As it is, we are behind in this football match. And has it been disallowed? The ref's got his finger in his ear again. I mean, I'm hoping... Hoyenhouse so far forward, there is a chance for offside, but no, apparently not. The goal has been awarded. I mean, Hoyenhouse all the way out there. I mean, no, I don't even know why there's a question at. Hoyenhouse and the 3 defenders were all playing him onside there. And we are now 1-0 down. Champions League hangover. Yay for us. We're not even playing well. I hate the Champions League. Why is it even a thing? It just ruins everything. Let's make some changes. This is our season now, boys and girls. Diaz is going to come on. Probably should have started today. We're going to bring Angelino on. Probably should have started today. We're going to bring Alvarez on. Probably should have started today. We should have made 4 or 5 changes, I think, off the back of the Villarreal game, rather than just the one. And I think it'll probably end up costing us because even with the triple change, we're still... It's not even that we're losing. It's that we're not creating anything. We're not playing well. Just... This is my frustrated face. It's going to be one of those seasons, I think. I just don't think we've got a deep enough squad to do this. Never should be losing to Watford. We started the season so well. And then in the space of 2 games, I'm questioning everything. Right, tomorrow, I think we're going to do Monaco and Manchester City. You know, a couple of easy games. Away against Monaco, home against Man City. That's going to be easier than Villarreal and Watford. Surely. It'll be fine. If you've enjoyed that, please make sure you leave a nice big thumbs up on there for me. Subscribe to the channel for daily Football Manager videos. And thank you very much for watching.